to playing with other singers now, how is it? What drew you to these artists? I mean, had you played with them before? Had you played on a bill with them? Like, what was it that made you think, yeah, this'll work with the Smithereens?
Well, they're both different. Marshall has been a friend of ours since 1981. I think is the first time we met him. We opened up for him when he was new, and then he ended up playing keyboards. Pat was friendly with him, so he came into the studio and played keyboards on a demo of "Strangers When We Meet." And then when we got signed to a label, he came in and reproduced his part on our album. So he's on the Especially For You album, playing keyboards on that and playing six-string baritone guitar on a song called White Castle Blues that I wrote. And but he was credited as Jerome because, well, he says, when he found out that Pat wasn't going to pay him, he didn't want to use his real name, but the real reason was he was on Warner Brothers and he couldn't use his real name, or it should have said courtesy of or whatever. And then Robin, he worked in a record store in Arizona, in Tempe, called Zia Records, and he was a fan from the first album, and there were no Gin Blossoms yet. As a matter of fact, him and his friends that ended up in the Gin Blossoms used to come to our shows there all the time. So in 1988, when we had our Green Thoughts album tour, we stopped in there to sign autographs. We had like an autograph thing at that particular record store, and he was there. There's pictures of us with a young Robin before he was in the Gin Blossoms. He told me he set up all the displays for the album at the store. He was a huge fan. So after Pat passed away, we did a benefit. Well, it's sort of not a benefit, memorial show where the proceeds went to a scholarship fund for musicians here in Red Bank, New Jersey. So what we did was we gathered or asked everybody we knew to sing a song or two. So there was BB Buell. I don't know if you know who she is. She's Liv Tyler's mom. And so she recorded a version of Top of the Pops many years ago. So I thought she'd be perfect. I gave her a call. And then friends of ours, Richard Barone from the Bongos, Peter Zaremba from the Flesh Tones, Marshall Crenshaw, of course, and a whole slew of people. Even Dave Davies came to that show. And then my girlfriend was friends with Robin's wife, Jenna, and she said, "Oh, he would love to do this." So I met him for the first time. Reintroduced me, because that's when he told me that we met back in 1988. But he just killed it. And after the show, both Marshall and Robin, after this benefit, said, "Hey, if you guys want to do any future shows, I'm available." So that's in a nutshell how it happened. And then we thought, well, let's see how this works out.
And out of all the artists that guested with us that night, Marshall and Robin, it just fit.
Yeah.
It just felt natural. So.
And both totally different.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. Have you ever seen the Gin Blossoms? Did you ever go see a show of theirs?
Yeah. I'm going next Saturday I'm going to go see them, and they're playing in Carteret of all places in the park.
Nice. Park. Oh, I hear that's a nice park.
That's what I've heard.
For a blue collar town, that's a really great park. Yeah.
They have a monument, a war memorial monument at Carteret Park. And when we were kids, if somebody challenged you to a fight, monument 4:30. That would be the place to meet.
And then you guys snap along, and they're like, "Okay, it's on. Here we go." And then, right? That's how you guys fought back then, right?
Yeah, that's how we roll.
Yeah.
I'm thinking back to when we were kids going to the park, which we did often. God, I always felt I would eventually be a musician, but I didn't think that we'd be able to come to Carteret Park and do a big show there, which we did back in 2010, I think it was.
Our 30th anniversary.
Yeah, for our 30th.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
I mean, it's just nuts to think about that.
Yeah, that must be bonkers.